It began with the ocean, but not just any ocean. A stretch of sea sailors feared. A place where compasses spun wild. Where storms came without warning. Where legends whispered of ships that never came back. And on a cold October night in 1974, a lifeboat vanished. Not a ship, not a yacht, a single lifeboat, carrying 7 men. Gone, without a trace. It should have been routine. A trawler, the Gray Gull, was out fishing near the coast of Maine. Rough waters, strong winds, but nothing unusual for hardened fishermen. Then a violent crack. The hull took damage. The captain ordered the crew to evacuate. 7 men climbed into the emergency lifeboat. A small craft, painted orange, fitted with survival gear. The captain stayed behind a radio for help. When the Coast Guard arrived, less than 2 hours later, they found the trawler, half sunk, empty, no lifeboat, no men. At first, it looked like bad luck. A storm. The sea swallowed the small boat whole. But then, the weather reports. Clear skies, calm seas, no storm, no record of heavy winds. The trawler should have been safe, and the lifeboat should have been visible. Yet nothing was found. For 3 days, the Coast Guard scoured the ocean. Helicopters, patrol boats, divers. They expected wreckage, debris, something. But the water gave nothing back. Not a life jacket, not an oar, not even a flare kit that would have floated. It was as if the lifeboat never launched. Back on shore, families demanded answers. Wives gathered at the harbor. Children asked when their fathers were coming home. Authorities promised explanations, but the reports were thin. And then came the whispers. A week later, a fisherman from Nova Scotia reported something strange. A lifeboat, orange, drifting near the Canadian coast. He swore he saw men inside, shouting, waving. But when rescue teams reached the spot, nothing was found. Only calm water. The fisherman's credibility was questioned, but his details were sharp. Exact model, exact number of passengers. Could he really have imagined it? Investigators reviewed the trawler. The emergency release pins on the lifeboat rack were intact, meaning the lifeboat wasn't lowered. It was lifted, removed, almost as if someone took it. But who and why? 3 weeks later, the first solid evidence appeared. A fisherman hauling nets pulled up something heavy. A metal container, Coast Guard equipment, stamped with the same ID number as the Gray Gull's missing lifeboat. But here's the disturbing part. It was sealed shut, and when they forced it open, inside were personal items. A leather boot, a fisherman's cap, a torn photograph of a family, and blood. A lot of blood. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said pirates, smugglers. Others whispered about something darker, that the men turned on each other, that the ocean drove them insane. But then came the twist no one expected. 2 months after the disappearance, a man walked into a police station in New York, soaked in rain, half-starved. He claimed his name was Joseph Keller, one of the missing crewmen. But here's the catch. The list of missing men did not include Joseph Keller. No record, no ID. Yet he knew the details that only the crew would know. He described the captain, the damage to the trawler, even the exact words shouted before they launched the lifeboat. Investigators were stunned. Who was he? And why was his name missing from every official record? Joseph said the lifeboat never sank. It drifted for days. Food ran out. Water ran out. The men turned desperate. Fights broke out. Knives were drawn. One by one, the men vanished. Not overboard, not lost to the sea, but taken, dragged in the night by something Joseph refused to describe. He insisted he escaped, that he swam for miles, that he made it to shore. But no medical exam supported his claim. No saltwater damage to his skin. No evidence of weeks at sea. His story didn't add up. Authorities dismissed him as a fraud, a man seeking attention. But then, Joseph produced proof of a small compass. Rusty, damaged, engraved with initials, HK. Those initials matched Henry Kane, one of the missing fishermen. His wife confirmed it. It was his compass. So how did Joseph get it? The families demanded answers again. Why was Joseph never listed as crewman? Why did the Coast Guard refuse to release the full log of the rescue mission? Why was the evidence kept sealed? The case was officially declared unresolved. whispers of a cover-up grew louder. In January, nearly 4 months after the vanish, a message in a bottle washed ashore in Rhode Island, scrawled in shaky handwriting. Not alone. Don't trust Joseph. He isn't who he says he is. The note was signed HK, which is the abbreviation of Henry K, the same man whose compass Joseph carried. If the note was real, Henry was alive when Joseph claimed he was dead. And if Henry didn't trust Joseph, who was Joseph Keller? A stowaway? A killer? Or something worse? The Coast Guard locked the note away, and the case files vanished from public record. But locals swear Joseph never left New York. He wandered the docks for years, muttering, always carrying the same compass. And then, one night in 1979, he disappeared too, like the lifeboat. Police shrugged off Joseph's disappearance. Just another drifter, but the dock workers disagreed. They swore he was there the night before, standing at the edge of the pier, talking to himself, tapping the compass against his hand, and then gone without any bus ticket, no boat records, nor dead bodies. It was as if Joseph Keller had never existed. Enter Clara Jennings, a young investigative journalist. She smelled the cover-up. Why were Coast Guard files sealed? Why was Keller's name missing from every manifest? Through a contact, she found a classified folder titled Operation Lifeboat, stamped U.S. Navy Restricted. Why would the Navy care about a broken fishing boat? Inside the file was a chilling detail. The night the Gray Gull sank, radar stations reported strange pulses, high-frequency signals, knocking out compasses and radios. These weren't storms. They were tests. Tests of classified Navy technology. And in the margins of the report, a single note. Subject J.K. observed. Continue surveillance. Subject J.K. Joseph Keller. Clara tracked down the compass Keller always carried. Experts discovered a hidden transmitter inside. Not a tool for navigation. A Cold War spy device. Meaning Keller was no fisherman. He was a plant. A government operative. The Gray Gull crew? Ordinary men in the wrong place at the wrong time. But the next piece of evidence was even darker. In 1981, a cassette tape arrived at a local newsroom. Unmarked, crackling with static. A voice spoke. I'm Henry Kane. If you're hearing this, we didn't drown. We were taken. Keller isn't one of us. He's the reason we're trapped. Don't trust the Navy. The tape cut off. Voice analysis confirmed it. It was Henry Kane, one of the missing 7. Alive, at least for a while. Clara tried to publish her findings, but days later, she was gone. Her typewriter was still warm. Her files are missing. Neighbors remembered men in dark suits at 3 a.m. No one ever saw her again. Years later, when Cold War documents were declassified, a memo surfaced. It confirmed everything. The Gray Gull's lifeboat was intercepted, not by pirates, not by storms, but by a Navy vessel conducting a secret experiment. The men were never lost to the sea. They were taken. The memo's last line was short. Cold. Status of civilian subjects terminated. But here's the part that still haunts investigators. In 1992, nearly 20 years later, a new note surfaced in Coast Guard archives. Same handwriting, same initials. Don't trust Keller. He's still alive. Signed, HK. Henry Kane. So what's the truth? 7 men went fishing. Only one stranger came back. And when he vanished, so did the answers. The Navy buried the files. The families buried empty coffins. And the ocean kept its silence. All that remains is a compass, a tape, and a chilling possibility. That Joseph Keller never died. That Henry Kane may still have been alive. And that the lifeboat was never lost. It was stolen. The ocean swallows ships. But this wasn't the ocean. This was a man. This was the government. And the truth of the Gray Gull lifeboat will forever remain. Vanished without a trace. The end. What really happened to Joseph Keller? Why was his name erased? And what secrets still lie at the bottom of the ocean?